Sergeant is stuck in a Mexican jail wondering about his fate. 2 months ago, Andrew Tahmooressi accidentally drove across the border into Mexico with 3 guns in his vehicle. The weapons were legal in the U.S., but illegal for him to take them into Mexico. His defense attorney says Tahmooressi is facing gun charges that could earn him a 20-year jail sentence. Tahmooressi first court hearing is scheduled for next Wednesday. This morning, his mother said the Mexican legal process is taking too long.
I don't understand why his case wasn't expedited immediately, and to be 60 days out from the actual event and for the border officials to woefully delay their statement 60 days out, I'm outraged.
Our own Greta Susteren has been trying to help win Andrew Tahmooressi freedom. She sat down with us earlier to talk about her recent trip there, to show us what she saw at the border and where she checked things out firsthand.
You know, when I first heard the story, Shannon, I thought, oh yeah, right, he made a mistake and ended up in Mexico. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was, but whatever. You know, I just didn't believe it. So then we went down there, and we actually went to where he was. We drove the exact same path. And what it is that when you leave the parking lot on the U.S. side, we had his car parked, and you want to head back to San Diego. He'd been in Mexico for the day, so he didn't want to go back to Mexico. If you leave the parking lot, San Diego's on your left, so naturally you want to turn to your left. So he turned to his first left, and the road zooms down and around and right into Mexico. And there are all these cement barriers that once you get into that ramp, you are in Mexico 100 yards later, down and below. So you make that bad turn, you're in Mexico, no questions asked, no exit, no options. Now, there was a sign, but the first sign that he would have seen would be when he drove out of the parking lot, and you're looking at oncoming road, not likely looking up to look at a sign. It was a little bit behind him. And then the other sign had graffiti on it, and one was faded. So, you know, I would have made the same mistake. In fact, my intuition would have had me making that turn, even if I'd seen the signs, because it just didn't make sense.
Meantime, now, weeks he's been languishing
March
down
31st.
there. I mean, this is a long time. His mother has been trying to sound the alarm. She's talked with you. You've tried to get more information and bring public awareness to this. Are we hearing anything from the administration, anyone that we know is taking action to help this Marine?
I'm hearing nothing. If they're doing some backdoor stuff, great, all power to them, but I'm hearing nothing. The family is hearing nothing, and the system down there is so bizarre. It's like, look, you're a lawyer. If this were in the United States, no prosecutor would have charged it to begin with. If some prosecutor had mistakenly, it would have been dismissed, or at least it would have been before a judge. Everything. He is just languishing in sort of never land. He's, you know, I don't know how he's going to get out. But the State Department, if they're doing something, we don't know about it, other than they were trying to help us get into the prison. But we got such a runaround from the prison warden, and so many stories told to us. They clearly didn't want us talking to him. He wanted to talk to us, but they didn't want us talking to him.
His mom has been able to see him. She's been able to talk to him some by phone. How is she feeling about this process and how he's doing, how he's being cared for? Is he?
Well, he's in a better prison than he was at first. The first prison is much worse. This is a cleaner, nicer prison. But, you know, he's alone. He's in segregation, in part because they thought he was going to harm himself. I mean, this is a Marine who, don't forget, had served 2 tours in Afghanistan for us. His vehicle, military vehicle, had been hit by IED. He has PTSD. He had actually left Florida in the early part of the year to go to the VA in San Diego. He went there on March 14. They did an intake, and then 2 weeks later he goes to Tijuana for the day, and this happens to him. So this is a vet looking for help. Now, the mother, I think, feels a little bit better because now she's getting some attention, because I think she feels now that she has some help. But imagine, it's enormously frustrating. But here's the bigger issue. Think of all the Americans that are in those prisons in Mexico who don't have mothers who can do this and who can gather up the support and put the attention on it.
We've heard the 911 call. I mean, there's evidence that he felt like he'd made a mistake. He didn't know where he was. He was confused.
Okay, I'm at the border of Mexico right now, and my problem is I crossed the border by accident, and I have 3 guns in my truck, and they're trying to take my guns from me.
So you're in Mexico?
Yeah.
There's nothing I can help you with then, sir. I do apologize. You're not on American soil anymore. I can't really help you.
I don't know if I'm really on I'm not sure if I crossed yet.
Does any of that not play with the Mexican authorities? Do they think that this is part of a bigger scheme, or that he's not telling the truth? I mean, how could you fake all of those things and then
they're not listening to it? They're not. That's the whole problem. If anyone listened to this case, he or she reach the same conclusion. They haven't even listened to this tape. And, I mean, it's inescapable that it was a mistake. You hear the 911 call where he says, I accidentally came in here. I mean, that's without any lawyers or anything. That's just what he says right there on the spot. And it's also significant. He's not charged with smuggling, because even the Mexicans knew that he wasn't trying to smuggle weapons in. This was simple possession of weapons that we have the receipts for showing he lawfully possessed here in the United States, but you can't possess those in Mexico. But if you are accidentally in Mexico, he never intended to go to Mexico. This was a total accident. And he's the one who told the border about the guns. He said they're in the back of my car. They may never have found them otherwise, but he volunteered it.
He did. Well, we're glad that you and others are bringing light to this, and the fact that you went there. You've showed us what it looks like firsthand. Hopefully more awareness will make a difference, and this Marine will be out soon. Thanks, Greta.
Yeah, we don't want to leave him behind.
Never.